A lot of high schoolers start lifting. A lot of them get into the gym in that period. But I got into the gym at a later period. I got into the gym at the end of my junior year. So in the summer of my senior year, it was around July time, I think exactly around that period, where that was the first time I ever stepped into the gym. Of course, it was a Planet Fitness, and it was the summer free thing for the high schoolers. So they gave summer free for high schoolers. So that was why I was able to go to the gym. My parents weren't gonna pay for my gym membership, and yeah, that was like the excuse I always used to make. I'm like, my parents won't take me anywhere, so I have to do like push-ups in my on my in my room and stuff like that. And I did do a ton of push-ups, tons of jumping jacks, tons of stuff like that. And it was true. They weren't really ever gonna take me there. So what I actually had to used to do was after school. Actually, I used to have to walk from my school to the gym. To the Planet Fitness was the only one I could go to, and it was like a 20-minute walk. But in the beginning, I like really hated it. I really neglected it. Like I really disliked it. I like, and sometimes walking in the rain, walking in the snow, it kind of sucked. You would be surprised. I walked in the snow. I didn't care. You know what I'm saying? I actually ran one time in the snow. There was actually a time one time I came back from I had practice, and after that I actually went to the gym. I'm like, all right, I'm not satisfied, so I actually walked in the snow to the gym. Yeah, I got sick after that, so I probably should have done that. But that's not the point that I'm trying to make right now. The point is that when I started lifting and when I started doing all that type of stuff, I wasn't really on social media. This is when I actually, this is gonna sound a little weird to say actually, but I actually had Instagram. This might not sound too relatable or anything like that, but I actually really downloaded Instagram, like had it, like I actually like start off my account and everything like that, like in the middle of my junior year. And towards the summer of my junior year is when I actually started like using Instagram a bit. I still didn't use it like a crazy amount. Like I did not really use Instagram. I started using it towards like the last part of my high school. That's when I started really getting onto it. But before then, like I never posted. I only posted, I think I only have ever posted 4 times ever, like ever. And that one post where I posted a post and I literally deactivated my account after like 16 hours, so that post doesn't really count. So I only posted like 3 other times. But anyways, there's a reason why I'm talking about social media with it. But anyways, when I started lifting and everything like that, and I started going to my practices, everything like that, like I started going to a lot of club practices. I wasn't going to any club practices for my sport. I wrestled in high school, so I went to a ton of wrestling clubs. I went to two in the beginning, but one was right next to my house, and the other one was a little farther out. The one next to my house wasn't as good because there wasn't a lot of kids in my weight class. So I wrestled at 190. I was like 180 during that time. So I was wrestling 190. I didn't want to. I couldn't cut down. I actually missed weight certifications. If you know what that is, basically where you have they test to see like if you're fully hydrated, and they tell you how much you can, what weight class you can wrestle. And I was around 170 when I did it. But anyways, they didn't let me wrestle 170, so they told me to go up to 190. So I was forced to go up to 190. So summer, that's why I started bulking. That's why I started lifting really. So, and that's weird hearing a wrestler. I didn't really lift it, but I like went to practices and club practices like all the time. So like I was doing all that type of stuff, and I was really lifting like more on the side almost, but I was really enjoying it. And I'll tell you why I was really enjoying it and why I stopped enjoying it. It's because when I started going on social media more, I talked about it right now, how I started going to on social media towards my senior year, like the start. And yeah, I feel like since the start of my senior year, that's when I was really on social media, like Instagram and stuff like that. And that's when I started comparing myself to literally everyone else. I started wanting to rush the process, in terms of lifting. Like all of a sudden, I was 180. Like maybe I think in the start of my senior year, I was actually 190. I put on a little bit of weight to put on muscle. I've been putting on a decent size of muscle, but I wanted to have faster muscle. I've been seeing all these guys lifting heavy, and I'm like, all right, I want to lift more. So what I what I end up doing, and I'm very ashamed to say this right now, but not ashamed actually. What I used to do is right next to my gym, we used to have a Dollar Tree, and I used to go there after, and I used to buy a bunch of like cookies, like boxes that would like have like 1,800 calories, like 1,000 calories, whatever it was, and I'd buy a ton of them, and I'd eat. each night one of them. Sometimes I would go to Target and get those double stuffed golden Oreos and eat all of those because I had to gain. I wanted to put on as much muscle as possible. So I literally put on. I went. I'm by. I think by December time or we call it November time. I was 218. So I put on a lot of muscle. I mean a lot of fat really quickly. But at the same time, I took my bench from 185 pounds on the Smith machine to 225 for 5 reps on the Smith machine. So I was pretty happy about that. That was pretty good. But anyways, I started noticing as well with my wrestling. I wanted to get faster results. I stopped enjoying it. This is the time I really stopped enjoying wrestling. I stopped enjoying lifting. I stopped enjoying wrestling because I started comparing myself to literally everyone else. I kept on going on social media and I started seeing all these guys doing well. And I just I started watching other people's journey instead of my own. And that's when I started really disliking the sport. And that's when I stopped liking practices. Like I would for me, everyone knew me from my area as a guy who would keep going to practices all the time. He was that grind guy. He was the guy who was going to every single off-season practice and stuff like that. And it got to a point where I didn't want to practice at all in season. I didn't want to do anything because I started comparing myself to everyone else, and it literally took the fun out of my sport. And I eventually did not wrestle my full senior year. I came back towards the end, but there was a period where I deleted social media and I just disappeared for a couple weeks. And it was made. It was actually made as a pretty big deal. Like when I came back, I'm like, no one will care. You know what I'm saying? Because I was gone for a couple weeks. I disappeared, and yeah, like people were like, wait, I thought you were gone. Like everyone was like thinking that I was gone or something like that. Like they made like a big deal out of it. So yeah, it was like a whole thing because I was known for my sport really well in the school and everything like that. It's just that I literally stopped. I hated the sport my senior year because I just, you know, I got so burnt out because I kept on, and that's why I feel like I got burnt out because I'm not burnt out, but like I started comparing myself to everyone else. And I'm like, I hate this sport so much now. You know what I'm saying? Every single time I go to practices, I hate it. You wanna know why? Because I love the wins. Wanna know why? I mean, I didn't even enjoy the wins anymore, but when I was like doing well, like in terms of wins, like if I had wins and if I post it online, like I would feel like that's like the way of winning. You know what I'm saying? Like every single time I do well in practice, doesn't matter anymore. It's all about doing well at this tournament, so I can post it online and I can like we call it. I can, show others that I'm doing this. Because I was comparing myself. I don't know how to explain it exactly, but I was comparing myself to literally everyone else. That like I wanted to be in that same area, and I started noticing that this external validation. I learned it into college that external I actually learned it in my second year of college that external validation doesn't mean anything. And why did I learn this? I mean, how did I learn this? Because I did end up, it's pretty surprising for somebody that literally quit his high school team to go on and wrestle in college and become a starter again and really get back into the swing of things. You know what I'm saying? And I noticed as well, like social media, it plays a big factor as well because I was comparing myself to all these guys, but I wasn't as much in college. I think I really stayed off social media in college a bit. But here's another trap that I actually fell into. Instead of being the one who I was looking at, I started being the guy who was posting it. I had my first wrestling match and everything like that. I won my first wrestling match. I had my first tournament. I looked very strong. I posted it, and I got like a ton of validation. Literally everyone like all of a sudden was viewing it, liking it. I started getting a ton of validation. People were texting me like, "Let's go. We're so happy for you," and stuff like that. Most of those people that texted me that type of stuff do not like me now. I don't know exactly why that is the case, but I started noticing that I was being that guy who was posting all that type the stuff, and I was the problem all that time. Remember when I kept on? I was talking about before how I started looking at all these people and I started feeling terrible about my journey. I started becoming that guy, but that's not the reason why I stopped posting and everything like that. Then I wrestled in some other dual meets, stuff like that. There was a local D1 team from our area that I was in a dual meet against, and I had the live broadcast and everything. I posted on my story, and everyone started viewing it and liking it, and was very happy and everything like that. And it just doesn't really matter. That's what I started noticing towards the later stage. I had my injury though towards January time. I was wrestling another dual meet and I got hurt that time. And that's why I really started to notice is external validation doesn't matter, and comparison is the thief of joy. It's literally like I know people say that a lot and stuff like that, but it really is. Like I started noticing that I was really enjoying my wrestling in college. And this is not just wrestling. I'm just talking about my story, but it's like anything. For example, it's like you working at a job, like you're working your 9 to 5, and you're loving your. Let's say, for example, you're teaching, for example, and you love teaching. You love teaching, and every single day you're going to school. You're going to the high school, middle school, elementary school, whatever it is, and you're having a good impact. You're changing kids' lives and stuff like that. And then you go online, you're scrolling on social media, and you're seeing these guys who are sitting in their room all day. I mean, who portray themselves as not doing anything all day. They're living a good life, and they're making like 20K a month, and you feel terrible about yourself now. You're like, oh my god, I'm barely making any money, and these guys are making all these money, and now you're starting to feel terrible about yourself. So now you're going to work every single day, and now you feel awful about yourself. But if you never saw that and you just stayed off social media, you wouldn't feel that. And it's the same way that goes for everything. So the key is really not to really believe anything that goes on in social media and not really let it affect you. If you let something affect you, that means it controls you. And what that basically means is you're telling yourself that you are not in control of yourself. You're telling yourself that you're too weak to be in control and that an object or something controls you. You're letting other people control you. Never let anyone control you. Just don't just enjoy what you're doing. It doesn't matter. Let's say, for example, you're living in like a modern sized house, for example, like a decent sized house, or maybe you're living in an apartment, for example. Let's say a small apartment, stuff like that, and you go on social media and you're seeing some guy living in a mansion, and like he's like living, look like on social media, it looks like he's living the best life. If you're praying every single day, if you're like building yourself internally, lifting, doing all the good stuff, and you're really building yourself internally, you will be way better than that guy who's posting online because he wants to show everybody it, because that's how he's getting his validation. Internal validation will always be external validation. External validation will not be there forever. Internal validation is way more powerful. Of course, it's cool having a lot of other people that support you, and like a lot of people saying, yeah, you're doing well and everything like that. But it really does not matter at the end of the day. It really matters about how you feel on the inside, and really letting yourself, let yourself control your own emotions. Do not get angry. Do not let anyone else get you angry. If you get angry or something like that, that's exactly what the algorithm wants you to do. That's exactly the people who design social media. They want you to get angry when you're on their app, because anger is the best emotion. There's the two best emotions is anger and love, and that's why you see so many people that create content for heartbreak and stuff like that. They go so well, and that's why you notice heartbreak is one of the most is the biggest like emotion you can ever feel, because it's a combination of anger, which is such a strong emotion, and love. It's such a strong emotion. So, anyways, I started rambling a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I got a little lost, but the point is, don't compare yourself. Comparison is the thief of joy. Enjoy the process. Cherish every single moment, whether it's your I don't know, your first month lifting, whatever that is. And I didn't even get to the another thing that I was want to talk about. I mean, I did really for the most part, but the point is, I was talking about that with the bulking thing. You don't don't dirty bulk. Don't do a 50 pound dirty bulk. I did that. It's not worth it. Don't do that. And yeah, don't rush the process. Don't take steroids because you want to look good faster. If you build yourself within that 5 years, a lot of people be like, oh yeah, body dysmorphia, this and that. If you build yourself and you see yourself grow within those 5 years, every single time you look at yourself, you're gonna feel way better than if you took those steroids and you look good right in the moment. Build that internal validation. You don't need external validation. Keep improving, keep being the best version of yourself, and just keep getting after it. So hopefully you enjoyed that. And yeah, after that.